Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to this episode of A Visit to the Mound. I'm Lark Smith, along with
Stan Huff.
And today, Stan wants to tell us a little bit about what it takes to be a major leaguer, if you're a ball player that's just playing for fun, or if you're playing to become a major league baseball player. And it all stems from a letter that he received from a baseball scout. So, Stan, take it away.
Yeah, I've got having conversations in the game, particularly when you're watching ball games and you're wondering about, how much work is being done. Some of these ball players look like they need a lot of work. Some look pretty good. So most of this was at a college game that I witnessed with this scouting director, and he emailed me this letter. Now, I'm not going to read it all, but I'm going to read the majority of it.
Okay.
So it talks about this scout talking to the player Mike, okay?
This is a potential ball player that he needs to maybe change his attitude.
And what he's telling Mike first is about all the intangibles, how well he runs, hits, throws, and all that, the stuff that he can see. But the deeper part of that, that's the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
So below that's the intangibles. But how you're going to accept this situation, going to pro ball, and getting away from mom and dad and all that, and now you're out of your comfort zone, and that we're going to take it from that point right there.
Okay.
So he's talking to Mike. He says, You've only played baseball on a very limited basis. I'm aware you've played baseball from Little League on up. We were talking about 3 or 4 games a week, and at most you'll only be spending about 3.5 hours per game, which amounts to about 11 to 12 hours a week. You've had good success in your caliber of ball, and you've eliminated the pressure of having to prove yourself in your own town. You have been accepted and respected here as a good baseball player. You have all your friends here, and you've gained respect in the community. And you're adjusted to this life because the people here know you. You don't have to battle for that position anymore. You've got a spot and you know it. You've shown your coach you can play baseball, and you're his best player, and he has said many kind things about you over the past few years. He knows you, your habits, and your general personality. And mom and dad and the friends enjoy watching you play, and your name has become a household word at every hour of the day. You've got the best arm, bat, and legs on your team. Your high school annual shows for 3 years you've led your club in everything. Your teammates all look up to you, and your opponents have all grown to respect you. In essence, you've pretty well got it made here. You've probably got a car and immediate access to one. Mom has the good food waiting for you before every game. After the game, you've got a home atmosphere to return to. If things just don't go right, you've got a lot of support for your cause. Mom, dad, girlfriend, coach, and many others are there to defend you. But you got some enemies too. A few jealous friends and occasional disgruntled teammates but basically you can count on a hell of a lot of support if things don't go right. You've got a scrapbook that your mom's kept from Little League on the present, shows that you're not an average ball player. In your situation, Mike, you play 25 games of baseball per year, roughly 3.5 hours a game. You put in 87.5 hours per year in actual baseball and game environment, and your team practices for 3 hours per year in an actual game environment, and your team practices 3 hours for 2 weeks prior to your opener, which is about 30 hours for a grand total of 117.5 hours of your devoted baseball per year. You are a standout in football and basketball, and now you're still interested in these, but you say you want to play professional baseball. You're going to find out a new life here if you sign to play pro ball, Mike. It's a great life for dedicated ball players, and for prima donnas, it's a miserable existence. Pro ball isn't just the big leagues. Pro ball is simply playing baseball for a living. In short span of 2 weeks, you'll leave many things behind you. You'll still have your 6.9 speed in the 60. You'll still have a range at shortstop. You'll still be able to pop the ball from the hole. You won't leave what power you possess at home, and your soft hands and agility on a slow roller past the pitcher will still be with you. Some things change now, Mike. You'll find when you report to minor league spring training that there are 30 kids who have equal ability in relations to your arms, legs, and bat. You'll also notice that there are 7 kids who possess more tools than you have. This may shock you, Mike. You may be discouraged the first week out. The fact is, there are better raw material in camp that may also dictate more attention is being paid to these individuals. What are you going to do, Mike? This could be a crutch for you. You could cry. You could, that you're not getting any coaching, that you're not getting a chance to bear down a little more and figure it. You give it all, you give it what God gave you, and try to respond to the faith I showed you when I signed you. You struggle when your manager makes a suggestion to you about your stride. You tell him, I've always hit this way, and now this guy wants to change me. Not only is he not giving me a chance, but he's fouling up my swing. You shrug your shoulders inside and you don't really care if you hit the ball or not. You feel you're getting the shaft. If this is true, you're on your way back home, but if you fight it off and hang in there, you might find that you're not overly enthusiastic about your manager. You have a personality clash. You don't think he cares for you. He doesn't say much. He swears and raises hell with you when you don't do something right, not like your high school coach. To complicate matters, your arm's sore. You've never thrown so many balls to first base in your life. All through school, you got 10 to 15 balls per practice, and you're handling 100 to 200 per day in spring training. An aching arm causes discouragement to a quitter. You think you're ruining your arm. To compound these problems, the humidity and temperature are unbearable, and suddenly realize that in a period of less than 3 weeks, you've already spent more time on the baseball field than you did all last season, and you haven't even started yet. You've found some other things that have changed also. Meals and eating habits become a problem. Washing clothes, ironing, taking care of your living quarters all become very real. You have moved from a previous environment at home where everything was set and organized to a situation that has become a constantly changing schedule. Workouts, meetings, trips, meals seem to be occupying all your time. You also find out that what you've seen in pro ball thus far, you're a little bit disappointed. Where are all the fancy uniforms with your name on the back? You can't understand how you've been issued a uniform. The pants are much more faded than the jersey. And one of your hoses has a hole in it. You think you had much better uniform fit in high school. You also become a little disgruntled over the crowd you're playing before the ballparks that you're playing in. 300 people at yesterday's game, and you feel like they could care less if you win or lose. And all of a sudden, you're trying to throw out runners who are faster than you've ever played against. You find that you don't have the time to unload the ball like you did last year. You find there's much more activity now around second base. Steals, cutoffs, relays, rundowns all become much more real than they ever have been before. At the plate, you see the ball do things you've never seen before. Good arms are coming at you every day. Another change for you, Mike, is the fact that you're surrounded with a whole new group of teammates. For the first time, you're with a cross-section of the world. Different races, socioeconomic classes, mores, habits, attitudes of all kinds are found on your club. Can you mind your own business? Are you going to be a follower, a leader, a loner? Are you biased against the whites, the Latins, the blacks, or will these things matter? You watch ball players come and go, and you start to think that this is a hard business. Teammates you liked and respected have been released or promoted. Teammates that you feel should be playing or riding the bench. Others you feel that shouldn't be with the club or playing regularly. How does this baseball future look, Mike? Do you want to go back home or enroll in college, or do you want to give the big time a good shot? I guess what I'm saying, Mike, is you've got to decide what you can handle and what you can't, or how you will adjust. I can make you aware of the situation, but you're the only one that's got to respond to it. I know your arm, your legs, your hands, your back will stand up, and you tell me if courage and dedication, spirit, habits, attitude, and emotions can come to the front in pro ball. If they do, you've got a chance to be in the big leagues. If you got the intangibles, you feel that this is the most important venture of your life, you'll set your long range objectives, and you'll also give yourself some daily objectives. You'll be all eyes and ears, and you'll soak up all the baseball your senses will allow. You'll forget about what the previous coaches have told you, no matter how much you respected them. You're going to cooperate with your manager and adjust to his managing philosophy. Disagreements, pessimism, pouting, and poor attitude will shorten your career quicker than a good curveball will. You have become a part of an organization, and when you do this, you operate under that organization's guidelines. They didn't sign you as a manager, business manager, scout, detective, groundskeeper, lawyer. Remember, we wanted you to play baseball. If you feel you've mastered this game by this time, you're a problem and a failure. If your organization wants to change you, take pride in this and throw yourself into the change 100%. If you're really dedicated, you'll avoid the club gripers. When things aren't going your way, this group will appeal to you because they'll give you support and sympathy. The only drawback here, Mike, is that this is a group of losers. Not only have they blown their chance in baseball, statistics would probably reveal they don't succeed in whatever they attempt. It's not necessarily your responsibility to reform the habitual gripers, but it's your responsibility to avoid them at all costs. If the manager has to remind you to get out on the field a little more and handle some ground balls, this is an immediate indication that you'll probably be a two-year man. Your life away from the park will show up at the park, Mike. So understand that. How do you handle the nightlife, the girls, the food, the drink? Are these gradually becoming a little more important to you each day? Do you see any correlation between your off-the-field activities and your on-the-field performance? Who are you running with on the ball club, Mike? A kid who is dedicated as hell to baseball, or one who doesn't figure he'll stay in pro ball very long? What is it? How durable are you, Mike? Can you go every day? Are you a training room athlete whose attention to every blow you take? Can you take pain and produce, or do you use this as a crutch for poor performance? Are you a front runner or pregame standout, or can you go 9 hard innings consistently? These things will come as important to your organization, but even more important, they'll be critical to you. In closing, Mike, I'm aware that you may think that our offer is not enough. You may have people who you trust who may think you're worth more than my figure. They know you better than I do. As I've tried to point out, I also know what the profession demands much better than they do. The road ahead isn't easy, but good things don't come easy. You can be a professional baseball player by signing a contract. You'll become a member of a select group if you do so. You also have the opportunity to advance in baseball with the possibility of being a big leaguer in a few years. True, you may not make it. If this side of the coin concerns you, this may be an indication that you shouldn't sign. If you feel that you can make it and welcome the challenge, baseball needs you. I'm going to leave and let you talk it over with you folks. I'll be in touch with you in a couple weeks, and if you want to play, we'll give you that opportunity. Author unknown.
Yeah.
I wish I knew who wrote this.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a guy who's been through it all and has had this discussion with many prospects.
Very profound information. And now when you look at it, you got kids that they go out and practice and want to be better. I mean, they want to go higher, but it's a seasonal deal. They only do it during baseball season.
Right.
The ones that want to do it all year long.
Do it all the time.
Now, I know they're working on this stuff in football. I can't – you got to give them credit. They've implied that for football. Now they're working at it 12 months a year, and they're better football players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got 7-on-7 and stuff like that during the off season.
But if baseball is what you want to do, you're going to have to do it year long.
Pretty
and
much.
You have to commit to it.
Yeah,
There's got to be some dedication there. If there's not, then you might as well go ahead and study those books and become very smart.
That's right. Become a doctor like Doc Medich.
Doc Medich. There you go. Anyway, that's about all I got for this right now.
All right. That's our time for this episode of A Visit to the Mound. Many thanks for listening. If you have any questions or comments, anything you would like for us to cover, we would love to hear from you. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at A Visit to the Mound, or on our website at avisittothemound.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, and review this podcast, and be listening the next time we make a visit to the mound.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.